Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and place to be, it's Debsy, bloop bloop, that's me, boop, Debsy. Hey guys, and happy Tuesday. I hope everybody is having a wonderful week and had a great day. Last night, let's get right into it. Last night, I watched the whole thing. I made notes. I'm talking about Fantasy Suites Week in Punta Cana, and we're talking about The Bachelor. So let's get right into it. There's 3 ladies left. We're starting off with Juliana. Now, Juliana, each lady has something that is bothering them. Something that is like at the front of their mind that they, are worried about. So with Juliana, she's feeling nervous because there are other women besides her that are left. And she has some past issues with relationships that are popping up in her head that are kind of making her a little nervous. So this week, each one of the ladies talks with one of the previous Bachelor contestants. So for Juliana, she had talked to Daisy. She brought up the fact there was a lot of infidelity in her last relationship. And now for me, hearing her say this makes me wonder, like, well, why did you go on a show then where the guy that you're dating is also dating other women? That's just what I think. I'm kind of wondering why you would do that. Okay. So Juliana's day date, they have a day date and then they have a night where they talk. Okay, so her day date was they went off-roading. So they had a lot of fun. He picked this for Juliana because she's very adventurous. But he wants her to open up a little bit more also. So they're off-roading, and then they just happen to take a champagne break. Like you always do when you go off-roading into the Dominican Republic or anywhere really. They took a break at one of the many why was I going to say comfortably and conveniently situated love seat sofas just in the Dominican Republic, in a clearing in the jungle. They have these. So they were talking a little bit. He had mentioned that his grandmother was from the Dominican Republic and she had just passed. Like I said, he opens up, but he wants her to open up a little bit more. So at night, she does. She's like, I'm wondering if I tell him this, if he's going to be okay with it. Spoiler alert, he is. That night date, listen, before they start talking though, and even while they were talking, I was honestly wondering if there was a hurricane. Like, were they filming this in the middle of the hurricane? Because this looked like, I'm waiting for my cane to fall. Because this thing, it looked like they were in the middle of the eye of a hurricane. So she tells Grant all about what had happened in one of her last relationship. She was in this relationship for like 7 or 8 years. And he was cheating on her with like multiple side chicks. And this was somebody that she had like given an arm and a leg for, like she had done a lot, I guess, for him. And then he broke her heart in like a million pieces. And Grant says, hey, listen, I have broken parts too. We all do. I'm broken. You don't have to be perfect all the time. And I'm going to always be there for you. And then he gave her like a picture of them when they went to her hometown on her hometown date. And this was like the happiest he's ever seen her. He says he's falling for her, but he also says, listen, love can fix anything. Now, I don't know that that's true. I mean, it is a nice little catchphrase to say, but I don't know that that's true. So the fantasy suite, the card comes up and, Jesse's like, hey, if you want to forgo your individual rooms, and it immediately is like a yes. Like, they pretty much run there. So he says he feels like she could be his wife. But listen, I just want to say something. And I think I noticed this the last time too. But is it just me, or does anybody else think they're skimping on these fantasy suites? Like, this doesn't seem to me like it's a fantasy suite. Like in the past, they would really do it up. Anymore, it doesn't seem like they are. Okay, so the morning after. Oh, and then listen, before they, you know, when they put the, you know, they shut all the lights off. Spicy, woo, spicy. So the morning after, you know, they're loving on each other. And then after she leaves, I completely understand this, because after she leaves, after he leaves, she's then talking about like how the rest of the time is going to be her spent just getting in her own head about what he's possibly doing with these other women. I completely identify with this, because there's no way that I would be able to make it through to the end. I'd be like, listen, I couldn't even go on that show, because I'd be farting the entire time. I would get the bubble guts. No, thank you. Okay, so next up is Zoe. Zoe says that she feels like she could fall in love, but she's not completely sure about it without having like that one-on-one time. So the woman that they bring in to talk to Zoe, listen, they brought in Rachel from Zoe's season, and I love this, because I absolutely 100%, I loved Rachel. I absolutely loved Rachel. I actually liked Rachel more. Rachel was maybe my favorite on Joey's season. I really liked Rachel. I liked Rachel a lot. But she says, and the reason they're saying why they had her talking to Zoe is probably because Zoe didn't get a lot of one-on-one time either with Joey. And also in my mind, I was like, wait, did you have Daisy was the second runner-up? What's that saying about Juliana? And Zoe and Rachel was the third runner-up. What's that saying? So Rachel basically, oh, no. Zoe was saying she's really still trying to figure out how they fit together. Rachel's advice to her was just like, hey, listen, go in confident, ask all the questions that you need to have answered, but also have fun. Okay, she was a great hype woman. I love Rachel. So with the date, I'm going to tell you, when they first greeted each other, usually like there's a jump and a catch and oh my God, you know, and running and catching, something I could never do, even at my youngest. And just the way he greeted her, it wasn't giving me like, let's move on to the next level. I can't wait to spend my life with you. It didn't give me that. So she wants to remember, she wants to get answers. She's like, I really want to get answers today. So what did the producers know that? So what do the producers do? The producers give her the worst silent yoga. Okay. Silent yoga. So they're in there. They can't talk. I'm with Grant. Grant doesn't like yoga. Neither does Zoe. But honestly, doing all his downward dogs, he's afraid he's gonna fart. I would fart. And they weren't feeling it. But then they were closer together and their loins were in close proximity, and that they were a little, I don't know if both of them were okay, but Grant definitely was. That was a butt date. B-U-T-T. As producers did her damn dirty. They did her dirty. So for the night portion, Didn't Grant, the one thing that stuck out to me, I don't think a lot of people are gonna notice this, but he said, well, yeah, we didn't, it was, I wish we could have had a one-on-one date. We didn't get a one-on-one date. That's because you didn't give her one. You picked who the one-on-ones are, so you didn't give her one. I feel like also, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I feel like whenever she talks, he looks bored. And she says, I've told you about myself, but I would really like to get to know you. He tells her, you know, all of the things, you know, with the mother, father in the rehab. And this, I guess, did wonders for her because, you know, they're going to the fantasy suites. All he had to do was like tell her about his family, and then ask what her favorite color is, and then it's on to the fantasy suites. He says he can see himself engaged to Zoe. I don't understand why though, because this is like their second date. I mean, if you count, because to me, Hometowns was the first date, and then so this is like a second date. That doesn't make sense. So I get to the fantasy suite. You know, Juliana was like, spicy. And, you know, and he was like, spicy. And he went from spicy to yay from Zoe. So, okay, next up and last was Latia. Latia, her insecurity is really with Grant. What's Grant doing with the other ladies in the fantasy suite? Like, is he getting intimate with these other ladies? So she talks to Zach she talks to Katie from Zach's season. You know who was the winner of Zach's season. So what's that saying? But then you see that I can understand why they picked Katie, because remember that Zach was like, I am not sleeping with anybody. It's the no sex. And then that all changed and he was like, oh shit. And he told her, he was like, listen, just be upfront. I slept with some ladies. Okay. I mean, obviously it didn't matter because she, you know, they're still together. He was the blandest, he was the absolute blandest of the bland. But the advice from Katie was to just go in, don't think about the other women. Just focus on the two of them. Like, don't go in and ask about them, just focus on the two of you. This was great advice. She walked away and you could see instantly that Latia was like, that's great advice. I am going to flush it all down the toilet. We'll see if she does. So for the their daytime date, Grant would like to see a little bit more adventurous side of Latia. She once again lets him know that she is worried about these other women. Don't just focus on the two of you. So you can tell that Latia is not adventurous. I'm not, you know, shaming her for that, because neither am I. But it's either she's not adventurous or she's just like really in her head about these other women, and it's affecting her tummy, like it's affecting her stomach. But they're going ziplining. I mean, she's a trooper. She does all of it. She doesn't look like she's enjoying any of it, but she does it. So good on her. They then go to like a pool, like I don't know if it's a lake that's supposed to look like a pool or whatever. But they're talking about stuff like where would we live, and she would move from Utah, and Grant, that's good because Grant would want to be closer to his dad. His dad's in rehab in New Jersey. So she's okay with that. She once again talks about the challenge that she's having with these other two women. Like, it's really affecting her. She says in confessional that she's not ready for physical intimacy. She doesn't know how he's going to take it. Listen, that's no surprise that she's not going to get physical with him because, I mean, Mormons. So that's no surprise. I'm thinking he's going to take it okay. Okay, so at the nighttime, there's questions. They start talking. One of the questions is about what's your timeline for kids. She's like, I'm 31, so I'm going to want to have kids in like 2 years. So TikTok. In the confessional, he says her timeline is a little quicker than his to have kids because he's like, I would like to enjoy married life a little bit, but it's something, you know, we can work on because there's love and this and that and blah blah blah. So once again, she says she knows he's exploring he's exploring connections with these other women, but she does mention that, like, I know that's happening. However, I don't want to focus on them. I want to focus on what we have. Because like Katie said, just focus on you two now, and then later on down the road, you can like fight it out. She says that they get the fantasy suite, you know, card. And she says it's a no for her because sex is not on the table for me. He's okay with it. He's like, I'm okay with it because sex is not the foundation of a marriage. I'm fine with it. And then I'm fine with that. And then he's like, I love you. Because she basically was coming out being like, I'm not going to sleep with somebody that I don't love. And he's like, okay, I understand. I respect you. I love you. She's like, I love you too. Does that change anything? Yes, it does. Yeah, okay, let's go to the fantasy suite. But I don't think that changed anything. I don't think they did anything. Like, and here's the thing: you can go to the fantasy suite and not get intimate. You can spend that whole night like talking and getting to know each other very well, better. Which, I mean, they know each other pretty well because Latia got 2 one-on-one dates. And then the morning after, listen, I'm going to tell you, the morning after, for 2 people who just said they loved each other, they weren't like, I don't know, they didn't seem super, super happy. And then he's, in his mind, he's like, he loves her, but he's wondering if he really should have said it so soon. Like, I'm thinking he's thinking that he should have, like, that maybe he wished he could take it back and not have said it, because he's also like very close to being in love with another woman, which obviously is Juliana. But then there's another, he also had said, I don't know if it was at this point, but it was at some point during their date. He said, do I just pick Latia now? Now listen, if he doesn't pick Latia and he picks Juliana, and then she sees this, if he picked Juliana and she sees this, they're not together. I'm going to tell you that right now. And also, if he picks Latia and then she sees this and she sees that, he did do it. He did do the deed with obviously with Juliana and probably with Zoe, but she sees that he was falling in love, close to falling in love with Juliana. And especially if he picks Juliana and she sees that, which she will, I'm telling you, if he picks Juliana and she saw that. They're not together. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, the rose ceremony, this was as anticlimactic could be. The ones that were picked are Latia and Juliana. Zoe is out. My mom just came home from St. Anthony, so Jack is barking. Listen, if that was me and I was Zoe, I would have burned that town down, because I would have been like, so I get cut and you gave me that shitty ass date of silent yoga? That's why she puts up her walls. So the next morning, Grant is conflicted. He says making the decision to send Zoe home was tough. But was it tough though? It wasn't that tough. I don't think it was. His family is in town. This is the first time his mom and dad have seen each other in a while. So next week it looks like it's going to be good. Like, I don't know. It looks like his mother don't like one of them. So we'll see what happens. Let me know in the comments who you think won. I have heard some spoilers. I'm not going to say who, but I have heard a possible spoiler. I'm not going to say. So in the comment, let me know if you watched and what you thought. If nobody told you yet today, you were loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity. See, now look. Do you see him? Do you see him over there? Hey, Jack. Hey, Jack. Do you guys see him? Okay. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. Okay. So I will see you guys tomorrow. If I didn't do my whole outro, I apologize. But sending love, thoughts, and prayers. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.